Meiji sampler, Meiji here. Want to give you an update on the brand new 1.2.0 release that we just dropped this week. So a really cool thing that comes in that update is the brand new tempo and BPM and metronome system. So if you've used Meiji sampler up to this point, you've probably known how the way that you program the first loop, that sets the project tempo. So if I drum in like boom, boom, bop, ba-doom, boom, bop, enter, that would end the loop, and then it would just continue to loop, thus setting the project BPM. So that was wonderful if you wanted to do a more live looper type workflow where you want to play, you want to feel the flow, and then just start layering things on top. But it wasn't the greatest, admittedly, if you wanted to start with a loop or if you had a fixed BPM in mind, because the BPM was basically invisible. It was all about the feel, which is nice. But sometimes, look, you want to say this is a 90 BPM project, and I want to maybe start with like this, 90 BPM hi-hat loop or some song starter. That's cool. And now you can do that. So let's just dive right in here. I've got the sampler up right over here, and let's just go and load up a couple sounds. So I'm going to load up I can just load up a basic kick sound. Let's go to lo-fi sounds, grab a kick, do the same thing for a clap. Okay, cool. So yep. So I got my sounds here. Previously, you would have seen how we had the auto tempo system. So this was basically how it worked before. You would just drum it in and then hit enter to end the loop. Right? So, a pretty quick way to enter it. But now we have a new system. So let's see what we can do now. If you hit R, you'll see this menu and it says fixed tempo or auto tempo. So auto tempo is what I just showed you, where you can record freely and then set the tempo by ending the loop cleanly. So the fixed tempo system here will let me do something more traditional. Let me just get it set up so 90 BPM is fine. We'll turn quantize off, and let's just do a 1-bar loop with a 4-beat count in, and we'll have a click track. So if I hit enter, now I can press space or one of the number pads to begin the count in, and then it will just record that fixed 1 bar of 90 BPM. So let's try it. Yep. Very straightforward, very traditional, and it just keeps playing. Cool. So let's try some other options here. Maybe I want to, I don't know, let's maybe tap in a new tempo, right? Maybe 90 is not what I want to do. I can hit space and I can tap in a new one. Let's do maybe a slower one. Okay. Oh, 80. Okay. Wow. 80 on the nose. That's crazy. Okay. 80 on the nose. And then let's quantize it to 1/16. Let's make it 2 bars, and let's just do an 8-beat count in. I can't believe I nailed 80.00. That's crazy. Okay. Here we go. Let's try that. Okay, there we go. Okay, pretty stiff. It's just, a 1/16 quantize. I can always go back in and change that. So here's like, here's off. Better. Yeah. So yeah, you get the feel for it. That was a 2-bar 8 count in loop. I started playing after the 4-beat count in because that's what I'm used to. But yeah, you can adjust that to your preferences. Another cool thing to mention is that if I go to settings now, so if I tab over to the settings menu under tempo, you can see we've got the tempo here. So it's 80, and we've got it set so it'll always choose a tempo within your range. It's kind of like Serato. If you're a DJ, you'd know that the BPM detection falls within a range like this. So you can always change your range. Like let's say you're doing drum and bass or something, or you just prefer to have double BPMs, or you want the quantized behavior, at higher ranges. That's fine. But I usually fall between this range, so that's why it's the default, and that was the 80 from before, right? So I can go in here, I can turn off the metronome entirely, or I can make it only play on record, or record and play, or play. And even when you're playing, I can have it count in. So let's say I want to do like a play count in now, I can do that. I typically don't do that, but look, somebody might want that, so it's counting in, right? And yeah, what else can I adjust? This is basically the project default. So if I go back to here, I can adjust this. If I hit Shift M, you'll see in the top right corner over here, there is a setting here. It says 80 BPM and then an M. If I hit Shift M for capital M, you get the metronome, and I can, turn it off. It's counting in, but no metronome. Okay, or I can turn it back on, and I can adjust the behavior. the volume, you know, you can turn off the accent, whatever you want to do. You can change the rate. If I'm in this screen, you can see it counting down. You can see a visual metronome here too. So that's kind of cool as well. Let's talk a bit about changing the tempo. So if I go in here and I had it at 80, right? So if I start, let's say, tapping in something faster, okay, that's like, you know, 105.89. Faster, right? So it'll automatically take the sequence that you've got and it'll shift it up to the new tempo in a non-destructive way. So I can always bring this back down to 80 if I want, back down to 80. Okay. So yeah, pretty decent. Another thing that I'll mention here is, let's say you want to do one pass of kicks and then you want to do a pass of snares and maybe a pass of hi-hats. You can do that as well. So let me actually just load up a hat. That's fine. Okay. So what we'll do then is, let me just delete this and let's record again. It's the first loop again, because I cleared my first loop. So I'll just set my tempo back to, I don't know, 90 is good. I'll turn off quantize for fun. And yeah, 1 bar, 4 beats. And what I'll do now is I will start by recording the kicks. And then as soon as it ends, it automatically enters overdub mode. So then I can play my snare, and then on the next iteration, I can do my hi-hats. So I'm just going to do that right now. All right. Okay, and snares. And I'll do the hi-hats next. Okay. Hit enter. And I've got it now. You know what? Let's quantize that hi-hat a bit. Cool. There we go. And yeah, that's it. So yeah, if you prefer to record the different tracks separately, you can still do that without needing to stop, start, or flip into overdub mode. All right, so let's do this. Let's show you how it works with a loop, okay? Let me load up a loop. I'm just gonna load a random loop from Splice, okay? Let's just go to Splice and I'll load up, I don't know, let's load up like Rhodes loop. Okay, let's search for that. That's pretty dope. But let's maybe find something that's more of an obvious loop. That's cool. Okay, so I'll load that. It's licensing from Splice. And that's fine. Let's just take the whole loop. Let's just take it like in situ, the full loop. So because I've got a project tempo here, it's automatically detected the loop length and it knows the length of the sample that it pulled in. So it's going to stretch it to 90 BPM. And because it's a loop and we've got a project tempo, it's automatically going to just fit it. I don't have to enable stretching anymore. It's just going to do it. So if I was to start my loop here and then just trigger the pad, you'll see it'll fit. See? Pretty good. Turn this down a bit. That's a very aggressive hi-hat. Turn off the metronome. Metronome's still playing. But yeah, oh, turn off my countant as well. Let's turn that. We don't need that. We don't need that. Okay, off. And you know what? Actually, let me just let me record that here. So I'll go to record on my second loop and then hit 4 to trigger my track train loop. So, okay, I'll just let this play out. And then when I'm done, I'll hit enter. Cool, dope, got that in there. Okay. Now, the cool thing about the new BPM system is if I go in here and then let's say I want to change that from 90 to something slower. I don't know, let's like slow it way down. Maybe it's like 75 or something crazy, right? All right, let's go back to 75. It'll automatically stretch it down. And if I go to play my track now, the whole thing will just be, you know, like shifted down to 75 BPM. Super smooth. Yeah. Super smooth. I mean, you want to do something crazy, we can just like load an amen break or something in. Let's load an amen break. Completely completely ridiculous, but we could load that in. I mean, you can just have fun with it, right? Like, you know, this is gonna stretch. So if I wanted to, let's say, mute my drums and then record, and actually, you know, let's just crank up the tempo a little bit. Let's make that like, obviously it's drum and bass, so it's double time, but okay. Let's record a new loop. So right? Here we go. And I can always unmute my original one. Maybe I'll quantize it because it's going to sound weird if I don't. But you can turn down the sound of it, turn down the volume a bit. I'll add some filter to it. Let's make it sound like a, you know, real old school jungle track. There we go. SV1200. Pretty cool. Some mutes. And yeah, just for effect, you know, a bit redundant now, but let's just totally mess with the tempo. Let's bring it way down to like whatever, 65, okay? 65. This is going to sound interesting. So pretty dope. I don't know, kind of works, right? Mute solo. I can mute the pads. Yeah. So there you have it. I mean, it's a pretty flexible tempo system. I'm pretty happy with it. Personally, there's times when I just want to get going and I want to just like, you know, just play drums and then end it and loop it and just, you know, layer things on top like I showed you with Splice. But there's other times when, yeah, you know, you want to start with an actual like BPM. You've got that in mind. You want to play against that. Maybe you want a click track. Maybe you want a defined loop length because you don't want to be, you know, like messing with loops that aren't perfect. Maybe you're making 4 on the floor, right? Maybe that's a workflow that you're doing and you want to have something that's more defined. Or a remix. Like if I'm remixing, I typically have a specific BPM in mind because maybe it's the BPM of an acapella or the track that I'm remixing. So I'm really happy with this update because it gives you a lot more flexibility and control over, you know, your project tempo. The goal is really just to get you into the flow sooner and not to make you adapt your workflow, but make sure that Meiji Sampler is able to cater to however you're feeling and however you want to start making your beat that day. So please check it out, version 1.2.0. If you have any issues or bugs with it, let me know, but I hope you enjoy this release. Thanks, everyone.